What's up guys, Heatfireash here. As you know, today we just got a new update in the game which changed a bunch of cards, and quite a few cards that people would consider maybe a little overpowered or just annoying to play against. So today Direwolf decided to make some changes, so I'm just going to give my thoughts on the cards that were changed and basically go over how that'll impact the meta, stuff like that. So first off, I want to say that I do like that Direwolf is willing to change cards, and they're willing to look at what the community is saying. They're willing to look at ladder and tournament results and see if some cards seem overpowered, and they're willing to change them. And I think that's really great that they actually care enough to make changes. They're not just saying, hey, we made the card like this, deal with it for maybe 6 months, and then we'll see. So I am happy that they're willing to change. Although overall, I really don't like most of the changes they made, to be honest. But let's go over them. I'm going to start with cards that I do like how they changed. So the first one here on the list is Belligerent Giant. So this has often been a staple in red decks. It's really good in the warrior decks, the rage decks, also mid-range hunter, aggro hunter, which is one of my favorite decks. This has always just been the best card for 7 mana you could possibly play. Great card, bounce your opponent's creature, huge attack. It's a must-answer card for your opponent. Really great. So what they changed is that now this will only unsummon a creature in this lane. So what that basically means is if there is a card in the field lane that you want to remove, you will have to make this Belligerent Giant open to being hit by, just being attacked or hit by something like a Cliff Racer. Whereas usually you'd put it in the shadow lane. So definitely a slight nerf. Honestly, I don't think it hurts that much. Most of the time, your deck is probably going to be more aggro than your opponent when you're playing this card. Something like mid-range hunter, the late game when you're starting to throw down Belligerent Giants, you're often already going to be in the shadow lane. And so your opponent's probably going to put a guard or something in the shadow lane. So I don't think it's that big of a deal to make it only in the lane that it's in, but I think it's a good change and certainly makes it a little weaker. Yeah, I'm really fine with it, so kudos to them. The next card I'm okay with is Dawnstar Healer. All they really changed on this is it says after a rune now instead of before or when a rune. And all this means is for the combo with the ring of Namira, the green card, the green support card, is if you're going for the OTK with that, where you would have 2 Dawnstar healers on the field and the ring of Namira, and you would break a rune for your opponent, you would just kill them. Now, your opponent will get a chance on every rune break to possibly get a lightning bolt or piercing javelin or something to stop your combo. And I think this is a good change. It's the exact same thing they did with the Relentless Raider and Wismother combo. Makes a lot of sense. The game is largely balanced around prophecies, so giving your opponent a chance to hit a prophecy to stop the combo seems like a fine thing to me. Alright, so those are the ones I think were generally good. Let's move on to the next one, which is Echo of Akatosh. If I find it, there it is. And this is a card that probably got the most flack right out of the gate from the set. So many people were going crazy that random keyword to every card or every monster in your deck. That's pretty insane. Turns out, after the first couple days, this card was like rarely used. I barely saw this card ever played. And I think it's just because it just wasn't as good as some other cards like Praetorian Commander, which also got nerfed. The keyword is kind of more specific. You probably in most situations, Ward is probably good in every situation, but stuff like Drain it's kind of situational. If you're up on a ton of life, you know, Drain's not going to do anything for you. Then there's some keywords, like, for instance, Breakthrough. That could be bad in some situations. You wouldn't even want that. Regenerate is almost worthless in all cases. Because either your minion's too weak that the Regenerate's not really going to help you, or if you have a big minion with Regenerate, your opponent's probably just going to kill it outright anyway. I guess the problem with this card is that sometimes you will get something insane, like Drain on Odahviing, Lethal on Odahviing, Charge on some creature with insane attack. So what they did is they nerfed it to now when you draw a creature, you will give it a random keyword. So that's terrible. In fact, let's just get this out of the way right now. Yep. Just all of them. Just soul trap all of them. This one I must have gotten a pack. I'm not going to soul trap it because it's not worth it. But, see what I'm saying? This card is literally unplayable. You will never, ever play this card. There's absolutely no... I can never see this card being played. It's just... It doesn't even... Maybe if it drew you the card, or if it said draw a monster from your deck, give it a random keyword, I could see that being played. But with this, it dies so easily. And then it has to live a turn. So it has to live, and then you have to draw a creature. Or you save it for a turn where you have some draw cards, but even then, I don't know. It just seems really bad. I mean, it's understated for 6. I really just hate that they changed it in this way. They took a card that was really not even being played that much, in my opinion, and then they just nerfed the crap out of it and made it completely unplayable. So, my advice: get rid of all of them. Get that 1200 dust for sure. All right, next one, Praetorian Commander. This probably has the most Reddit threads out of any card. And so they changed it to +1/+1 instead of +2/+2. The reason so many people hated this card, though, is because there's no counterplay. You played it, every minion on your deck gets +2/+2. Right? So many people complained about that because of the counterplay. Me personally, I think the card was very good. I don't think it was OP, though. Now nerfing it to 1/1, you're probably really not going to see it. To me, it's costed too high with such a small body. I don't know. I think there were better ways to nerf it personally. I think actually upping the mana cost on this would have been a fine nerf, making it 7 or even 8. 8 might be too much, but even 7. The card was already super slow, so changing that I think would have been better. So yeah, I'm not really happy with this nerf. I mean, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about this. It's certainly really not going to be played at all. It's definitely not as dead as Akatosh is, but I don't know. I really personally didn't have much of a problem with the decks that use this, but I just think there are better ways, or they should have just probably reworked this ability completely. But whatever. And the last card, and this is one I just don't understand. Actually, I have to go to 7 now because that's what they changed. Okay, Bringer of Nightmares. So, this card is very powerful at 6 mana. And it's very powerful at 7 mana. The problem with this card had nothing to do with the fact that you could basically get a silence or possibly like a polymorph effect, if you know from Hearthstone, on turn 6 with a body. The problem is that it can high roll insanely hard. You as a player, when you play this on turn 6 and get an auto win and win the game because you played a turn 6 auto win, blew up the entire board, that's just, you're gonna feel like you stole the game, and it's not gonna feel good to you as a player because you didn't outplay your opponent. Sure, you got the win, but you didn't outplay him. And then when this happens to you, it's going to feel terrible. Like I said, I think it'll still be played at 7 mana. Maybe it'll be a 1 of, maybe not a 3 of. I think it's still really good. And I hate that they just left the entire, like, everybody was complaining about RNG of Akatosh and stuff. This card is way more RNG dependent. Like, this is literally a Hearthstone card, and they just left it right in there. I don't know why. I have no idea why they did that. It's just absolutely a horrible nerf to the card. Does nothing. Doesn't solve the problem at all. Makes no sense. I don't get it. But there are my opinions on the recent changes, nerfs of in July here of 2017. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think these changes were good? Are you happy with them? Are you upset? Maybe some of your decks that you were running before are invalid now because of some of these changes. Do you think Bringer of Nightmares was a good change, or do you think it's still a problem? Just let me know what you think. And I'll catch you next time, guys.